Hi, my name is Jose Tovar, and today I'll be discussing drug metabolism. In today's presentation, I'll be going over what drug metabolism is, understanding it, the advances, experts, benefits, and impacts until we finally reach the conclusion. So first off, what is drug metabolism? Well, according to Science Direct, it is defined as the metabolic breakdown of drugs by living organisms. This is usually through specialized enzymatic systems. Simpler terms, it is a chemical alteration of a drug within the body. And in this process, some drugs are chemically altered by the body, otherwise known as metabolized. It is meant to be a therapeutic process, but can impact the human negatively. As you can see in this image, this describes a process which I will further discuss in later slides. Moving into our advances, first study never occurred until 1841 by a man named Alexander Ure. According to the Journal of Pharmacological and Toxicological Methods, 80s and 90s was the beginning of the widespread of metabolism and many more drug approaches from drug companies. But studies never began until the late 60s, in which subcellular fractions were being used. Moving into the 70s and 80s, it consisted of the increased use of hepatocytes, and in the 90s saw the rejuvenation of liver slices. Next up, we have our experts in drug metabolism. First off, Alexander Ure conducted the first study on a human's urine. Into our main guy, we have Richard Tequin Williams, or R.T. Williams, which discovered drug metabolism in the mid-20th century. Then we have James R. Gillette, which was one of the major contributors of drug metabolism. So moving into our first guy, we have Alexander Ure. According to ISSX, he was born in Scotland in the early 19th century. Originally a surgeon, he composed his first study on a human's urine due to his father's disease, which was gout, defined as another type of arthritis. In the study, he noted that hippuric acid could be isolated from urine after the ingestion of benzoic acid. The result from this was the first home remedy of gout. Moving into the father of drug metabolism, we have Richard Tequin Williams. He was a Welsh biochemist who founded the study of xenophobic metabolism, then later published his famous book, Detoxification Mechanisms, in 1947. In this book, he described the scheme of two plans of drug metabolism, or the two phases. Moving into our image from the first slide, we'll go into phase 1, which is called drug inactivation or activation, which the drugs go into the liver and then are oxidized by enzymes. Then move into our second phase, called the synthetic phase or the detox phase, in which drugs are just eliminated from the body. Moving into our last guy, we have James R. Gillette, which is one of the major contributors of drug metabolism. Was a very famous American biochemist, and his visions in the fields of drug metabolism and pharmacokinetics earned him numerous awards. Pharmacokinetics is defined as viewing metabolism with math treatises or statistics. He was one of the seminal contributors to viewing drug metabolism pharmacokinetics. Okay. Moving into our factors affecting drug metabolism. There's only 4 factors that affect it. Firstly, with genetics. If you have a different genetic code, you will metabolize very differently. Going into disorders, the only 2 disorders that primarily affect this process is liver and heart failure, in which decreased blood flow to the liver impacts drug metabolism the most. Moving into our drugs and foods, our CYP40 enzymes' ability to metabolize are impacted, and the foods that primarily impact this process are fruits, vegetables, herbs, spices, teas, in which they inhibit the activity. Then lastly, we have age. So our metabolization changes throughout our life. As a kid or as elders, they have smaller doses because their metabolism is slower, and young adults and children have a faster source of metabolism in which they get bigger doses. So as a result of this presentation, we learned that drug metabolism is the chemical reaction responsible for conversion of drugs into other products. It's important to understand the pharmacological and toxicological activity of drugs, and the metabolism of a drug can have important consequences on its therapeutic effect or toxicity. Thank you.